Hello and welcome. I hope you are having a beautiful day. I am so happy to share this message with you. The messages have just been coming. They have been coming in so often. I usually sit down to channel once or twice a week, but lately I've been having the feeling of something trying to come through, and I just kind of have to stop everything I'm doing and tune in. And then I'm there channeling for like an hour or more. And it's just so much information. And it's all about this big event that we're being sort of prepared for. This big change, this big shift. It's very new earth. It's like kind of the same message through different lenses. Each of them are so special. I think they have really great information for all of us. So I do encourage you to tune into each video that you see, because I'm going to start trying to get these out more and more. So this came through on May 27th, 2026. And the first thing that I see is water, lapping waves from above. I kind of feel like it's the ocean, but then I also am looking at it from an angle. And from this angle, it sort of looks like the way that the water is lapping is akin to a symbol or even like a hieroglyph of water or of a wave. I hear, open your heart, empty your mind, ground your body. And then I start to feel all of this energy, like old energy I don't need anymore, just drain down my central channel. Literally as if I was like a sink and everything was just all the way down. And then I see this beautiful rainbow, and it's not an arched classic rainbow. It is this expansive rainbow light that stretches across the entire sky. And I hear the words, "We're here." Who are you? All of us, your galactic family. And I can feel this whole group of beings. Each one looks completely different, and it kind of reminds me of this Sesame Street book about diversity that my kids have called "We're the Same, We're Different, We're Wonderful." It looked so much like that. Like everyone looks completely unique. We are coming. Tell me more about you coming to Earth. Do not be afraid. I see a light shining down from the clouds, like when a beam of sunshine plunges through a cloud and it makes this one huge sun ray. And I'm seeing one really big one, and then another one, and then another one. And people are starting to take notice of these huge rays of light coming through the clouds. They're pointing at the sky. They're getting each other's attention to take a look. I see all of this light in these big beams pouring through the clouds. There's this sense that if the clouds part and completely dissolve, all of that light would still be there. It's very warm, golden. It looks like the sunlight you would see during a sunset over the ocean. We are here on Earth to see you, to be with you, to support you at this time in this transition. You are entering a period of great transformation on planet Earth. We are here to assist you. What are you assisting us with? Recalibration, frequency body, light bodies, spreading your wings and flying, soaring into new heights that much of humanity has never even dreamed of. There is a wave of light, a wave of unity that is coming to your planet. It will sweep through your nations, your world, bringing many changes with it. I see buildings falling like dominoes, really fast, really hard. They're totally done the second they fall. These buildings are representing old structures, the archaic, the not in alignment with this new higher frequency. And these buildings are overlaid over the Middle East, maybe a little bit over Eastern Europe. And it's not that it's only happening there, but that's where the image is. That's where that image was centered. It looked so much like the Tower card. All will fall. What is all? Outdated structures, beliefs. And it kind of trails off. And I'm like, you guys realize how all will fall can sound pretty ominous. And I ask, can you just share this message in a way that gives more peace of mind to those who will listen to this? Because I can feel the energy when the message is coming through and I'm getting the visuals. And so I know not to be afraid. I know that I can trust it. But that's not always the case when you're, hearing it coming through someone else. We are coming to you today with a message of love, of encouragement. We wish that you have no fear. What is coming is great. You are undergoing a period of great transition and transformation on planet Earth. Much will unfold in the coming time. And this was feeling like the next few months into the next couple of years. Something is being set into motion. Some of you may call it the Great Reset, the time you have been waiting for, the big thing you have been feeling near. Some of you have been feeling this for many years. Some of you have recently come in contact with the sense that something big is coming on the horizon, and it is. You would be right. You are. Can you tell us more about this transformation and how you'll be assisting in it? Yes, you will be experiencing great change on your planet. Change that has been ordained, administered. I've noticed Spirit doesn't use that word the way we do. Administered, I think of that as very clinical and coming from a hierarchical chain. But they use it in a much more neutral way. And I was not just hearing ordained, administered, I was hearing ordained, ministered. There was something about this being a sacred clock set into motion. And then I hear a sacred process that many of the timekeepers have been waiting for eons to begin the clock tick. To begin the clock tick of this grand countdown to the new world, to your grand new world. And I notice while this is coming through, my hands are in sort of a lotus mudra where the base of my palms are touching and my fingers are splayed up and out. And this mudra is coming out from my heart as if I'm holding the clock in my hands. This clock is more than a clock. It's the gears turning something in a machine. It's like a machine that has been stuck for a long time, sitting in a factory, waiting to be brought to life. And I was getting the visual of a machine that's been stuck for a long time, just sitting in a factory, waiting to be brought to life. And maybe people have tried to tinker with it from time to time, like somebody hits it with a wooden mallet and somebody pours oil on it. People have tried to get it to work, but it just hasn't moved. And now it is as if it is coming to life by magic. I was getting a lot of imagery that felt very similar to Edward Scissorhands and some of the scenes where he's being made and he's having interactions with his creator. So the gears start to move. This old dormant factory comes to life as if by magic. The lights are turning on. What was gray and dusty is filled with vivid colors and light. It sort of reminded me of in Cinderella when all the little birds and animals are helping her wake up and they're parting the curtains and, but there's no animals making it happen in this vision. It's just the gears started to move on this machine and it sets off this chain reaction. All of these things start moving into place in the most beautiful, magical way. It is time. It is time for the great shift to occur. The great shift is upon you. Can you tell me more about this shift and this new world, please? Many of you are remembering why you came here, to this planet, to this incarnation, coming with a mission in mind, coming with a role to play on this great world stage. I'm hearing all the world's a stage, all of life is a play. For many years, you have been putting on a play, and you as humans, you have been putting on a play centering around themes you have been curious about. Themes around destruction and repair. Themes of abuse and reparation. Themes of domination. Themes of darkness and light. Because you have lived in such a dense matrix, the dark end of the themes has taken precedence, has taken center stage, has been heavier than you could hold. And I'm seeing someone on a stage performing a play, and there's this teeter-totter. On one side is light, and the other side is dark. And the dark side is thumping down to the ground, and they're trying to pick it up so that the light side is winning, but it's that darkness is just so heavy and they can't pick it up. This part really touched me. It's just this one guy, this one person trying to shift the balance toward the light, and he's using all of his might, all of his strength, and he can't do it. It doesn't even budge. But slowly, one by one, the other people on the stage who are just kind of minding their own business, milling about, they start to notice him. They see that he's struggling and that he's trying to do this thing. They don't even necessarily see what he's doing it for, but they see him struggling, and so they rush to help him. One by one, 2 people come over and join him and help him try to lift this darkness up. 3 people join him. And then when a huge mass of people is helping him, that dark side shoots up and the light side wins. And I'm hearing the light has won, and it's literally ha in the background. There's cheering and jumping up and down happening from all of the people who have just done this enormous feat. But outwardly, it's more subdued. They're looking at each other and hugging with this teary look in their eyes, like they're so relieved. They're saying, "We did it. Oh my God, we did it." It's so big, you just can't even express it yet. It's one of those things that you need a little time for it to sink in, to understand the gravity of what it really means for the light to win. The next thing I see is a fish. This one made me laugh. Sometimes these things feel like they come out of left field, and I don't know what they mean or what they're about until we get a little further into it. This fish is medium to large size, blue and green color. It's got this yellow crosshatch pattern. It looks sliced in half as if it's placed on a plaque. And I'm like, what's this fish? And I hear, "Your victory, you won the prize." And I'm like, but why a fish? Can you explain the significance to me, please? And then the whole scene changes. All of that fades away. There is this very regal being stepping forward. She is incredibly tall, luminous, elegant. She has this galactic queen, cosmic queen energy. She's got the kind of energy that makes everybody stand up a little taller. And she puts her hand in my hand, and she says, "You will remember." And I just felt like asking, does this have something to do with Yeshua, with Christ? Maybe I was thinking about a fish and a Jesus fish, and she's nodding her head. I ask, is this about remembering the Christ within, activating Christ consciousness within each of us? And she's just nodding her head. She's so loving, so gentle. She's got one hand on my back and the other holding my hand. Her hands are very large, long palms, long fingers, and they have these sort of globes at the fingertips. She's kind of translucent, like her skin is translucent. It's sort of a lavender or light purple color. It looks iridescent, shimmery and swirling, like her skin is a universe all on its own. She says, I am Ashira. The way she's holding me and saying you will remember, it's like holding the space the way a doula might hold space for you to find the strength yourself. Instead of showing you where to look, she's just holding. And she is in full trust, deep love, compassion, very feminine, very motherly, in this deep empathy, deep love that just blankets you. And when she says, you will remember, it doesn't feel like it's just me. It feels like it's like she's speaking to humanity. Humanity will remember. And it's more than Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is an aspect of it. It is our true origins. And that means where we come from. It also means who and how we really are before we entered this distortion field, this version of Earth, this time on Earth where we're very locked. Not locked. Imagine a rat dropping into the center of a maze, and the intention is for them to find their way out. But this is not an easy maze to get out of. There are many dead ends. There are many ways it can travel, and it might have this sense of, oh my God, I've been searching forever. I must be close to the end. And then it's a dead end, and they've just been spiraling and spiraling, and they've got to go all the way back and take another path. I'm hearing exiting the matrix. There are so many people who are aware of the matrix, who want to exit it, but the way that they perceive it in and of itself is not actually what the matrix is. People think it's their job and going to work every day, and if they can just live off grid or travel or work for themselves, etc., or if money wasn't a thing, that they would be free. There's truth to this. It's not false, but it's limited. What is the true matrix that we must exit? I'm hearing enter the light, step into the light. I see that same stage that the play was on with the teeter-totter scene. But this time there's a spotlight. It's coming from above the stage. So it's casting this huge ray of light, this huge beam of light, kind of like one of the rays of light from the beginning. I see someone step into the light and they feel this incredible warmth and love. A smile spreads across their face, their chin tilts up, their head drops back, their shoulders shift back, palms are forward. And I'm seeing a version where someone drops to their knees as if it was the first time they were feeling sun in 40 years. If you believe the 3D overlay is all that exists, you are effectively trapped. You are the mouse at the center of the maze who does not know that they are inside the maze. Others of you can see through the overlay as if looking through a veil. And then I see someone who, they're pretty in their 3D reality, but then there's certain spots where they pass by where they're like, what was that? Did I just see what I think I saw? And then a couple years later, it happens again in a different way. That's different. What was that? They're questioning, but it's sort of intermittent. And I'm seeing all these different ways that this can look. It can be someone who goes to a different country and sees people living in such a different way than we do in the US, and they're so much happier. I see someone who sees a ghost and they're like, is that what I saw? It was just a flash, and they're not sure if they saw something or not, but it makes them wonder if there's more, and it starts to open up that part of themselves. I see someone doing a mushroom journey and they see all of these things they don't normally see in everyday life, but they have this sense of this is more of what's really here all the time. I got a glimpse of it. And now I'm, sort of blind again. I'm like, I'm inside the veil again. They have temporarily, for a time, passed through the overlay. Imagine a very strong plastic film, and you use your head to push into it and push into it and push into it until it's very stretched and you're very far out from the plane where the rest of the film is. You can see clearly while it is so stretched, but eventually you get tired, so you have to go back. And then I start to see this, I don't know, it takes a minute to come into focus. At first it looks like gears, and then it's almost like a wheel that a cat might walk in, or like a hamster wheel. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's a hamster wheel. And I hear many of you are about to break out of the 3D overlay. And I'm seeing that overlay shattering like broken glass. And it's a scene, the way that I'm seeing it is like a scene from a Britney Spears music video. I don't know if it's Stronger or Toxic. I think it's Toxic, and she's got like the black wig on. And she sings the high note, and it's like slow motion, and the glass shatters and flies everywhere. It is this collective and individual choice to no longer participate in the 3D overlay. Enough of you have seen beyond the veil to know that it exists, and you have gained enough fortitude, enough familiarity beyond the veil to safely and confidently choose it for yourself as your dominant reality. And this feels like ascending to 4D and is a step on our way to 5D. I ask, has this already happened? I know time isn't linear, but if it were, is this something that has already happened? It is in motion. It is reaching a critical mass. And then I start seeing a lot of disillusionment, particularly around politics and religion. These are the throttles of 3D. I see two fists holding very tightly onto something. And I realize they're holding people. It's either regular fists holding teeny tiny people or enormous fists holding normal sized people. Oddly enough, it's like in a pickup truck, maybe because of that throttle. One fist is politics and one is religion. They have a death grip on these people. The people in these fists don't realize how constrained they are. I see them living life from the head up. They're looking around, and occasionally one of these fists might move, a little bit. And so they feel like they're moving fairly freely. But they're also pretty disembodied. They're relying a lot on thinking. They're not so in touch with the sensations in their body, which are giving them nudges in certain directions or telling them that something isn't right, or maybe they're not totally safe or in alignment here. They have the illusion of not being stuck, not being trapped. And then I hear not being violated. I was like, violated? In what way are they being violated? And I hear a violation of soul, of autonomy, of choice. But then it's also kind of a surrendering to it in a way. And I hear it takes two to tango, baby. It takes two to play that game. So it's like making a less than conscious choice. The scene changes, and I see children getting indoctrinated into religion from their families, into certain lines of politics. And they're just seeing and hearing these things so much. And even when they're questioning it, their questioning is being suppressed. They're being conditioned out of their natural curiosity, out of critical thinking, out of the ability to really entertain any other beliefs. They're out of options. Trapping wasn't the right word. It's almost like sequestering. It's like locking them into this life where they're existing within the grip of this structure, this giant hand that keeps them stuck in this very narrow plane of existence. It limits what they can see, where they can move, what they can feel. They can't move their body freely. They can't do a cartwheel. They can't extend their arms. They can't follow their dreams and do whatever they want and really taste the world in their own conscious way of their own choosing. They're in this very confined, constrained experience of the world. But there are so many people who have just recently, in the last year, and it's also part of a larger pattern, especially the last 5 years. It's just really accelerating lately, of people who are leaving religion. The visual I'm getting of someone freeing themselves from religion or certain forms of politics or certain, let's say parties or movements, they're not like pushing away and wiggling out of these big hands. They just lift their arms up over their head, palms together, and like something about getting a little longer, reaching up, they just slip right out of the hand. And this slipping through looks so peaceful and fast and fun. It's like when you're going down one of those water slides that's really steep. It's like a straight down drop and you're just, you're free. And then I'm also seeing a cartoon character, maybe it's Pocahontas, like slipping down a waterfall. And there's this feeling of no fear, total freedom. They've got a smile on their face. Like it can be that easy to free yourself. You just slip out of that grip. I ask, do you have any guidance for people who are listening to this message of something that they can do to help bring on this new world where the light is the dominant experience of reality? And they're like, you humans are so consumed with doing. Be, and it's this very lovely mothering energy again. Be, sweetheart. Bring your attention to how you are being more loving, being more kind, being more curious, being more open-minded, being more, and I'm hearing enraptured in ecstasy. I'm seeing someone listening to music with headphones on, and they're so consumed in the experience. They're just smiling and dancing, and they're totally in it, consumed with joy and pleasure and creative expression, being joy. And you don't necessarily have to decide, right now, my way of being is joy. And then you like assimilate to that and find a way to make it happen. We can use doing as the doorway to being. So if it is not music that brings you joy or movement, I'm seeing someone doing martial arts and they're getting so much joy from jumping and kicking in the air and practicing their moves. They look like they're in nature somewhere, maybe a park. Being in joy. Being in creativity creates fortitude. And I see that this person who is just totally immersed in their own joy and creative expression, in front of them, all of a sudden, this path appears. And it's a straight road. It goes in both directions. There's a left and a right lane with a ticked white line down the center. This road goes right to this new world. And it feels like the second you start on this road, you just take off like a bullet train. I was reminded of so many pop culture references in this in this one. If you've ever been on the Incredicoaster at California Adventure, it's like the second you start, you just take off, go really, really fast from the start. So you can also come back. You can come back to share with others, to retrieve others, to tell people about this brave new world, grand new world, a new world that exists. It already exists within your minds and hearts. There are many worlds, many overlays. You will choose which one you attend, like school. Which school will you go to next? And I hear frequency access. Your frequency determines which school you will attend. Some people will be ascending to 4D and feeling very liberated. Others are primed to go to 5D and beyond. I heard the phrase 12th dimensional self. Their reality looks different. Colors are more vibrant and vivid. Music is more beautiful and transporting. Art is more affecting. The art you see, the art you make. Everything is just kind of lighter and better. I'm hearing in full color. It's not like someone's actually going to another earth or another city and they're like, well, there are cities of light. Like it's not necessarily that they're waking up in a new place, like physically. Someone who has gone down this accelerated road, when they wake up and they move through life and their day to day and they look around them, things are more vibrant, more beautiful. It's the same, but it's changed. I see them walking down the street on this beautiful sunny day, and they're just mindfully noticing all the little details. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, there's a soft breeze. They're very immersed in their sensory experience, joyfully, peacefully, pleasurably, noticing everything that's so beautiful around them. They're just in it, totally present. Each of you who lives life this way have the ability to bring others to this new world. And I'm seeing someone who has these, they look like jellyfish tendrils. Is that what they're called? Jellyfish tendrils growing out from their back and reaching behind them. And one of these tendrils reaches someone in their life, and it kind of stings them and brings them in, as if the tendril turns into a chameleon tongue or a frog tongue that sort of sucks or reels them into that new world that they've already traveled to. So it's showing how we can bring others with us. It's almost like it just pulls them in. We're bringing them with us through our own beingness. At this point, it was feeling like the message was starting to come to a close. So I asked, could you please share what else is most relevant in this message? You will be entering this new world very soon. It may be very familiar to you. Many of you go there in dream time. You may go there on a day when you're feeling really in alignment. You're doing all the right things. You're feeling really good. Life is grand. That's you living in this place. Remember how easy it is to feel joy. Remember how easy it is to let something exude from you, to express yourself in creation. Remember how easy it is to love, to be kind, to embrace one another. And they were saying that for all of these things they mentioned, the getting transported by music, going for a walk on a sunny day, being in this really high state. Remember how easy it is. Like there's this one way of transmuting, let's say, a bad mood or poor sleep, feeling bogged down by something that feels like it's in the way of you having one of those high, joyful experiences. You know, you can work through it to be in the clear space beyond, but there's also this way that's kind of like just walking around an obstacle. You know, you can push your way through it to get to the other side, but that's pretty hard. You could also just back up a couple feet, take a few steps to the left, and go forward, and it's clear. And they're talking about this with wounds, shadows, blocks of certain kinds. There are times when it is most helpful to go into it, to revisit it, putting the pieces together by reliving it in a way with full presence, not to hurt you, not for the wound to sting, but it's like someone has a wound in their arm and they're combing over the surface very, very gently with their fingers to take out any little rocks or fluff that's gotten stuck in that wound that would keep it from healing well or that would cause issues down the road. They're just very gently going over the experience, very slow. They're very present, loving, tender, very gentle with themselves. And once the wound is clean, all the fuzz is out of it, it starts to glow on its own. And this glowing light heals it from within. Your own inner light is inherently healing, not just for others, but for you. It is a self-healing wound. You may have things you feel like are getting in the way of living in that place, this 4D, 5D, and beyond place. Sometimes we do need to go into that wound, but it's not like digging around and excavating it in a way that would hurt if it were a physical wound, but being so tender and so gentle with it. And then once you do that, you can sort of go on your way and trust that the wound will heal itself to completion. I see someone who's been tending some emotional wound, and maybe they just needed to journal out every detail so they have a full account. That can be a form of going over a wound with full presence and tenderness and gentleness, but also accuracy and truth. I'm hearing truth fire, the sword of truth. And then I see the sword of truth is cutting a picture, a highly accurate picture, into a piece of paper, as if they were making snowflakes, but not folding the paper. Like, again, very Edward Scissorhands, what he does with like the hair and the hedges. And I think he makes snowflakes at one point too, where they can just, and it's this like incredibly detailed, beautiful picture. So sometimes you need to do that. That person, they go through that process, they journal it, they tell someone their story, they make art out of it, whatever it is, and they go about their day. And then maybe sometime later, a couple weeks or something, they see a sign that says the words, they see a sign that like confirms the truth they thought about the story that's part of the self-healing nature. Sometimes we can just go right around it. This is part of remembering our abilities, remembering how to work with the energetic nature of existence. Yes, there is a 3D overlay. Yes, there is a 4D overlay. There are many overlays. They each create these conditions of learning, of school that we attend, but how we approach the overlay makes all the difference. And there's something here about people who are like, you have to exit the matrix. This is all a simulation. This is a slave planet. There's such a higher, broader, more expansive truth to that could be tapped into. And if all you've been doing is staying in that place of like, fuck this place, I want to be done. It's like, it's not wrong. It's just limited. And I hear, if you have settled yourself into a place of opposition, then there you will stay. Free yourselves. Free yourself. And then I was kind of hearing it as the diamond lady in How to Lose the Guy in 10 Days with her delicious French accent where she's like, force yourselves. It's like, free yourselves. Please pardon my terrible French accent. Free yourselves through your beingness and your joy. Like, you don't have to be doing all of this painstaking, deep spiritual shadow work. Like, yeah, that's part of it, but it will come to you when it's time, when it's ready and you're ready. But day to day, focus on your joy. Focus on being creative and expressing yourself. Focus on being enchanted by music or a piece of art. That is where you get into the frequencies and states of being that are the portal. It opens up the road to the accelerated path where you can attend the next school. They're also saying, like, don't be worried about the next school. Like, just because you hated middle school doesn't mean high school is going to suck too. You might be really bummed or nervous about college, but it's very different from high school. Graduate school is different. Trade school is very different. And then I start hearing shaman school, fairy school, mermaid school. Like, you get to go to a school that is like your dream school. It's not like, I got to get up early and do all this boring work and deal with these bullies. And like, no, this is magical school. If you want, you can learn how to make fairy dust, and you've got to go collect the ingredients for it in an enchanted forest where you meet a talking bird. And this talking bird has divine messages for you. And there's a stream, and it's also enchanted. And if you step into it, your color changes, or you can sprout wings if you want, or a dragon tail. This isn't literal, but they're like, it could be if you choose it. They've been talking so much lately about choice, coming back down to how much free will we have. They say, yes, certain things are fated, but this is a game of free will, and your choice is situated, habituated. The foundation of your choice is what you believe to be possible. You can't make a choice if you don't know if something is possible. Believing something could be possible, is also a choice. Right now, we are all choosing. I'm seeing all of these people running around in different directions. It kind of looks like a board game, like pieces on a board game, but also kind of like in New York, maybe Manhattan. People are walking back and forth in different directions, asking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? It's almost like playing Amazing Race and deciding where you want to go and how you want to begin. Is that a thing? I don't know. I've never watched that show, but that popped into my head for some reason. Again, with the pop culture references, I don't even know some of these things. People are pacing back and forth in different directions. Am I going to hop on this train? Or am I going to turn around and hop on a plane and go in the total opposite direction? People are waffling around their choice point. We are approaching the choice point. We are in the choice point. It is occurring now. You have some time, but be swift. It's coming. Train's coming. You want to know before it leaves the station if you're getting on or not. This is really exciting. I have never received messages like this before where they're like, it's time. It's time to choose. It's coming, this big thing that you've all been waiting for a really long time, or maybe you just recently started to feel. It's coming. Like, figure out if you're coming or not, because the train's going to pull into the station soon. So decide with your beingness. Like whatever brings you pleasure and joy and feels like it makes you more you, that feels like you are embodying your own light more than anything else. Do that. Do more of that. That is what opens up the road to ascending in higher frequencies. So have a blast. Have so much fun exploring and figuring out how you want to do that. And even the times where you're like, that thing I tried was really fun, but I think it can get even yummier. I think it can get even more like transporting and delicious. Have so much fun. So normally this is the part where I would say, see you next week, but actually I'm not going to see you for 2 more weeks because I'm going on a little trip with my family. So next video will be shared the week of the 22nd, which is summer solstice, which is one of my favorite days of the year. So excited to see you on the flip side in the summertime. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. A beautiful couple of weeks before I see you next. I am continuing to post on TikTok, so if you don't follow me, you can go join me there. I've got a link in my profile. As always, I would love to hear from you in the comments, how this landed for you, what this channeling brought up for you. I always love if people are getting similar things too, to share them with me, because that's just always so cool. Please share this with someone. If you were listening and you're like, oh, this person that I know would love this, send it to them. You can share it on socials. And if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. I love you so much. I will see you in summer.